Hey, Bramborough back with some Grand Tactician Civil War in our 1.06 beta CSA campaign. And the difficulty levels are hard and mediocre. Okay, I think we got a few things to talk about here. First, let me address a couple comments from the last video. There were some good comments there. Thanks everybody for that. Hopefully we'll have some more. But one question was, can you speed up project research? And the direct answer to that is I don't know. No, not directly. I didn't see a policy for that, but let's look in here. And what there is there is administration reform, which actually has filled up and is active. I could take this right now, but more on that in a second. And what this thing does, each level of this project further shortens the time required to activate new policies and acts. So where does increased subsidy funding come from? From new policies and acts, right? So, military 2 bumps up our maximum military subsidies to $5 million. King Cotton bumps up our ag subsidies to $5 million, right? So, no, you can't directly speed up the project speed. But that project speed comes from filling up the subsidies. So if you increase the max level of your subsidies via the policies and acts, yeah. So it's kind of a two-step, big picture, kind of the same effect. Or it's a roughly similar effect to that. So there's that. And like I said, I could take the first level of that right now. It's not very expensive, and that's the first thing that filled up in our projects. Let me just see if there's anything else that filled up. Kind of doubt it. One interesting thing to note, though, visually, these little progress icons don't exactly match up in their scale. Because you notice here, admin reform needs, if you read the tooltip, come up, yeah. You need 250 to have accrued, right? And we look at this, and it looks like that's like 3.1 little coin icons. So that apparently is 250K. Now look up here at occupation administration. It needs 500K. But we've got 295K is what has accrued in politics subsidies. And so the 250K apparently gives us 3.1 and these little icons, but 295K is only 2. I don't know. I'm just eyeballing it. 2.6, 2.5 icons in occupation admin. And it's only 1.4 little icons in this expensive propaganda one. So just visually, you're looking at these, and they don't exactly match. So that's something to keep in mind. And, maybe and there may be very good reasons for that. Maybe just in drawing, in the graphics here, maybe that just made it too scrunch. If they tried to make everything look exactly the same, maybe the expensive ones were just way too scrunched down, and you're trading one problem for another visually. Anyway, so why am I not taking admin reform right this second? And the reason for that is, I think, was it the last episode, or maybe in one of the previous episodes? I think it was the last one. We looked at railroads, and I could swear that there were only 2 railroads available to build, and I built both of them, and they were going to take like forever to build. Well, for whatever reason, that's no longer the case. For one thing, I've got a lot more railroads available to build as I load the game in today. I don't know if that was, time hadn't started running yet, and I don't know. But both of those two railroads, which was I don't think it was that one. It might have been. This Arkansas Little Rock to Dallas was one of them. Well, it's not showing as constructing. It is showing a lot. I mean, it's still almost a year, but it's a hell of a lot slower than we saw before. And it is showing eligible to build. And the other one I want to say was this Texas, Houston, and Shreveport. And same thing. Not constructed, eligible to start building. So I don't know what happened there on why those are not building. But I got a lot more choices here. And the two that I had started building before are way over in this area. But now my eye is drawn to this New Orleans and Tallahassee. Okay? We talked before about how, we built some markets through here. And we're going to use our Navy to try to keep these ports clear. A railroad that kind of runs all along those ports, not just the three big ones here, but also, oh good, I get to say it again, Apalachicola. There's your Apalachicola pronunciation for this video. I think I'm going to build this thing. And for that reason, come on, yeah. I'm going to wait. It shouldn't take very long. I'm going to wait and let this railroad construction fill. And I'm going to take this to speed up the construction of this New Orleans and Tallahassee. And the other reason I'm doing that is because one of the other questions in the comments was, okay, when one fills up, can you not take it? And will the subsidies continue to fill so that you can take a more expensive project? I have read in comments in other videos and Steam and stuff that you can do that. And I believe those comments. So I am 99.9% sure that you can do that. However, let's just get some video documentation of that little mechanic in action. And so we only need 5 more K. It should just take a day or two, if even that. Maybe it'll pop just as soon as we start running. But if we can get this railroad construction, which requires 300K of political subsidies accrued to become eligible, when this 250K is already eligible, then that pretty much answers that question, and we'll have it up. We'll have it on video. The fact that it's already accrued to 295K when this thing topped out at 250 kind of already answers that question. But anyway, I'm going to do that. And the other thing that, before we do that, let's just see. Right now, if I pop the build button, it will take 222 days for the New Orleans and Tallahassee to build. So, let's run for a second and see how much that time comes down with the first level of railroad construction. See how many days it shaves off. So we'll do that. What else do I need to... Oh, yes. I guess because it's not the last day of the month, because July has 31 days. But this thing is populated up here so that we can see what the new intelligence report looks like. And now the actual data in it, it's so early in the campaign, which started during July. So I'm suspect on what the actual information in here is. So I don't think we should go off that. Let's wait for another one when the game's been running a full month and everything. But it tells you what policy the enemy is working on. That's pretty cool. We didn't have that before. I like that. What their relations are. I mean, you can kind of... We already kind of had that in this display. But that's all right. It gives you an estimate of how many men that they have recruited into how many brigades and how many ships they've started constructing. That's neat. I don't think we really had that before. I mean, we had like a broad number here in the manpower number, but that's all we had. So that's good information. Kind of an estimate of the overall morale of the federal armies. We had that here. But kind of a change. And these numbers are off, partially because I just loaded in the game. It hasn't really started running yet. But this thing is fixed, right? We're not going to get this updated until the end of August. And then it kind of gives you a verbal description of, hey, this is kind of what they're doing. And indicates that the enemy is consolidating and regrouping. So this particular intel report, I think we should take with, not a grain, but, a ton of salt on the actual information in it in this one. But the format and the kind of things that it tells you, I think that's pretty neat. We've also had our first economic report, which I think is suspect as well for the same reasons I just mentioned so early in the campaign. And we've seen these before. This is not a new report in 1.06. It is reflecting all the crap that I built, resulting in my, $50 million building bill with all the markets and everything. 2 forts, I guess I built 2 hospitals. Yeah, 1 east, 1 west. 5 markets, 1 news agency, 1 prison camp. Yeah, so that's what 50 million buys you. The export and import volumes, just showing 0 for both, so I don't think the economy's really been running enough yet to populate that. Corporate production, change is 0. Yeah. And formerly, the last line has always been, hey, we lack this and we have a surplus of that. And up through 105. Well, okay. I guess that's good to know, but what the hell can I do about it? And, well, now with these buildings that we can put up, we can do something about it. So is it new? No. But it has transitioned, I think, as we go on. It has transitioned from just kind of FYI to actionable information. And I'm not going to do a whole lot of analysis of this because I don't think it's all really correct. But we'll take a closer look at these as we go on through the campaign, as one commenter has suggested, requested, and I think is a good idea. I think we need to do that. Right. I was thinking about these forts up here. Let me turn that front line off. That we just started building, and I've already kind of thrown myself into well, straight up, I made a mistake building these. At very least, I should not have built 2 of them. But by the time I caught how much these damn things cost, I had already placed one and left this route to come in and take Winchester open, and I just bit the bullet and built another one, probably compounding my mistake. And now I feel like, okay, these armies are immobilized, right? I have to complete these forts. because I've spent $36 million on them. I can't afford not to complete them. Like literally, I don't have forgot to turn off monuments, turn on telegraph and supply. And one commenter said these forts cost way too much, and I agree with that. I like the idea that there's a substantial cost to them, right? Y'all have seen me do this in previous campaigns. Yeah, I just built that fort just to give that guy some XP, and I didn't know what to do with him right then. Yeah, those days are over. Obviously. Even if they cost a lot less than they do now, that would still be over. You really got to think about, do I need this fort here? Why am I building this? How does it fit into the overall plan? How important is this town? I don't think they need to cost $18 million to force that kind of cost-benefit analysis. Because, before it was almost like, you still had to factor in the time that it required to build a fort, right? Because it took about something like 45 to 50 days. And so there was that. But from a cost perspective, it was just a no-brainer. You just build it. Yeah, this guy needs some XP. There wasn't much thought that had to go into it. At 18 million, we kind of overcompensate and transition all the way through to another equally kind of no-brainer mindset of these things just cost too much. I ain't building any. So I think they've gone too far. Something like maybe 4, 5, 6 million, somewhere in there, I think just feels to me like a sweet spot for, you can't fort spam, but there's times and places where, yeah, let's build a fort. At 18 million, man, it is hard to justify that anywhere. And the way that and now I'm feeling like that the mobility of these armies is hampered by, I gotta stick here and complete these. Now that could be solved a little bit with build an engineering corps and have him go do that and free up your armies. And at the moment, I don't have the troops for that. And another thought I had was, you build an $18 million fort and just letting the little token 50-man garrison sit there with its 4 guns, and if it gets taken over, it's not cool, but it's not a big deal either. Now it kind of is. And so I feel like I'm going to put substantial garrisons in these things. Not like a whole army's worth, but and I'm probably not going to fill it up to its max capacity, which is 10,000 men. But I'm not just going to leave 50 men there either, right? I'm going to put a brigade and a couple battalions in each of these. To protect Winchester? No. To protect the damn gold-plated fort itself. Make it harder to take over. Which, and I know I'm rambling on, but we can count this as one of Ram's historical tangents, if we'd like. And you can skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to hear it, but it kind of reminded me of my days in the United States Navy. During the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, we had these nuclear-powered cruisers. And they were small classes. I think the total of all classes combined was like maybe 9 ships. But within that, there were several classes. There was the Truxton and the Bainbridge, the Californias, and the Virginia class. And and the role of a guided missile cruiser is it has area air defense, meaning surface-to-air missiles capable of defending other ships besides itself. And that was the role of a guided missile cruiser, was to provide area air defense with missiles for the strike group, and specifically for the high value unit, which was, of course, the carrier. Is, of course, the carrier. You know, this is true today, too. And kind of the joke that happened a lot, that was told a lot, was, what's really the high value unit here? Because during that course today, pretty much all of the U.S. carriers, not pretty much, all of the U.S. carriers are nuclear powered. During that time period, they weren't. The majority were still conventional boiler steam powered. And quite a few of them were rather elderly at that. And, you know, the old Forestalls and Kitty Hawks and so forth. And so the joke was, what's really the high value unit? Is it the carrier? Or is it the cruiser's nuclear reactor? Because that damn thing costs more than that, you know, old ass held together with chewing gum and baling wire aircraft carrier. That's what I kind of feel like with these things. And that's why we don't have the nuclear cruisers anymore, because they were just enormously expensive. And their capability had been kind of matched and then exceeded with the Aegis class guided missile cruisers and destroyers, which is pretty much the backbone of the surface force today. I'll say this. Those nuclear cruisers, most of them, the first one with Long Beach, not so much, but those nuclear cruisers, the Californias, the Virginias, especially the Virginias, some of the most gorgeous warships ever built at any time by any Navy. Man, they were beautiful warships. Look them up. Virginia-class CGN. Just take a look at some photos. Beautiful ships. Matter of fact, I am going to link. I'm going to put a little card in right here. And I'm going to just link. I found a really short little, like, 2-minute video where somebody had piled together a few photos of Virginia-class CGNs, and I'll link it up there in the upper right. It's only like 2 minutes. Absolutely beautiful ships. Okay, enough of that. Yeah, I think I've done all the kind of preamble. Let's just run time just a second here. Let's see if we can get that subsidy filled up. Let's see what McDowell's doing over here. Okay, well, we don't see either of these armies anymore because Beauregard has run away over here to Front Royal Bridge. I mean, Patterson's still there because Alexandria is getting captured, and I'm letting it get captured because of my dang forts. And they're okay. Well, so that prediction was correct in the intel report. They took that policy or act. That's an act, not a policy. I don't know why these are still glowing. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. I guess because I had looked at them when time wasn't running. Just destination arrival reports. Okay, let's clear the log there. I've also got my building hospital completely open here. Let's put why can I not go into scout mode? I guess I have to be at yellow readiness for that. Three days until Beauregard gets his brigades. Capture of Alexandria continues. Leaving Richmond, wide freaking. How we doing on Grafton? Grafton is Confederate. I think that's a good thing. I should have shown this before I cleared the log. Earlier, an episode or two ago, we saw the West Virginia militia sitting here, and it wasn't clear, is he coming, is he going? We saw him going back up this way. There was a message, I've deleted now. There was a message saying so-and-so West Virginia militia is withdrawing. So I guess he had come down this way, caught sight of Garnett's force, and was actually retreating back up to Wheeling. By the way, we don't see that supply depot building up here anymore, which means we see the icon, though. So maybe we can't see them in Fog of War anymore. Which we did see it in 1.0618, so did another little mini update to the update drop? I don't know. That might explain why we saw a little bit of disconnect on the railroads. We see these guys. Okay, how big is Lyon's army? 8,500. He's going to be 12,000 soon. So we've got about 7,500. He's got 8,500. I want to go attack him. The question is, if I send him up that way now, is he still going to be 8,500 by the time I get there? Or am I going to be pitching into 12,000 men? In which case, I do not want to go attack him. So what's that trade-off there? We do have an economic report, an economy alarm. Could trade approximately 45% more if enough transport capacity was available. Markets or railroads nearby to increase transport capacity. Well, first, am I going to hang on to this area permanently? That's questionable at this point in the campaign. Second, what exactly, just how much more is 45% when we're generating $101? Right? So my sales tax and tariffs would go up to like $146 or $147 if I build a market here that costs almost $1 million. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that, even if this thing was perfectly secure way down south somewhere. For that matter, even where I did build markets, it's not 100% clear to me that, of course this one was here anyway, but if we have a market, how much more is this port? Let's say I had built this, or like this. Okay, this one over at Biloxi. So I built this. I spent about, I think it was 900K, almost $1 million. Just say $1 million for a big round number. That's easy to. So if we spend $1 million, this thing produces. Oh, it is getting blockaded now. 1.7 million. And currently the lack of transport affects transport capacity by minus 14%. So the first question is one tier 1 market going to fully erase that 14%? I don't know if it will. It may not. And then the second question is, even if I do erase that entirely by building that market, what is 14% of 1.7 million? Just for a big round number, it'll probably bump it up to 2.0 million. So I'm getting an extra 300K by building a $1 million market. So I'm spending $1 million to get 300K. Now this is not I don't know exactly what this number is. Is this a total of all revenue, a cumulative total over time? Is this 1.7 million per month, per year? I'm not sure. I think it is probably per month because that is the periodicity of the monthly, the monthly economic report. So I think this probably means 1.7 per month. In which case, yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Spend $1 million and you get your money, pays for itself within 3 to 4 months. And then it's crazy after that. If that's what that number means. And if one market clears this entire transport deficit. So we'll keep an eye on that just as a little test case. See how those numbers change. But anyway, did a lot of economy talking and campaign map stuff last time around and doing it again. And yeah, that's another argument could be made for let him complete the supply depot first so we can capture it. However, that greatly increases the likelihood that he's going to have 12,000 men by the time we get there. So let's go ahead and send him marching back the other way, I think, is what we shall do. It's a short distance, so even though I want to increase the chance we get there before he gets his additional brigades. Let's force march. Oops. Okay. Well, it took. There we go. And yeah, we caught him in time. He's only got 1,000 more men. I'm cool with that. He's got more cavalry than I do. I don't think it's a big deal. He doesn't have any guns. We've got, I think we have 2 battalions. All right, I'm going to pop in, see the map, see the objective, set my guys up, maneuver if I have to. We're probably going to be on the attack here, I would guess. And I'll be back. Okay, this is the Battle of Lebanon. And we've got the Wilson Creek map, which is pretty standard, I think, for this part of Missouri. Comes up. And it is an attacking situation for us. The Federals own the objective, which is right here on the Wire Road. Okay, so seems like a pretty good bet that this is where the Federals are going to be. Okay, so the direct route to it crosses here by the wind place and comes up like so. You're marching uphill. There's some fences in the way. It's kind of, even if the Federals were not to build any fortifications, it's still kind of naturally kind of a nice defensive setup for them. There's some fences. There's kind of some high ground here. We're marching uphill toward them. And except for the road itself, we got to march through some, put the divisions in line, and most of them are got some creek to walk across, got some woods. Not a huge fan of this route, so I think what I'm going to do is march over this way, cross the creek here at the Sharp, and then work our way along this little road and kind of get over in this area and come at the objective kind of along this axis. That's my plan. Okay, so Van Dorn and Marmaduke came on up here, and they've spotted the Federals, and they are pretty much where expected. They do have fortifications, just breastworks, not parapets, right in front of the objective. And so, continuing the plan as described earlier, crossing here, coming up over here, and we are going to pitch in about like this into the Federal left. Okay. No, ooh, he did redeploy. And probably a good idea on his part. Maybe I should have foreseen that coming. And he decided to go and move in back of the objective. Okay, well, first things first. I don't think I want Marmaduke here. At least not for the moment. Let's just move him back. And he might actually need to do that under fire. Which apparently I don't have a fallback up. Okay, just go ahead and retreat. That's fine. Well, and now all this maneuvering, and it was looking good. And now we're making a frontal attack across open ground into a position where he's at least got forest cover. That is the sum total advantage of what I've been doing. So, hey, about all I have done is simply take the breastworks away. That's it. It's still not a great position. And I know I've said this before, I don't care about the objective. They're significant mainly just as a way to tell what the AI is going to want to do. But the objectives really aren't that important in these victory conditions, right? Morale, routes, losses, objectives. The objectives are not a big deal. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's pretty rare that taking or losing an objective point in this game is the critical difference between winning and losing a battle. It's pretty rare. I'm not going to say it never happens, but usually not. Unlike some similar games, Ultimate General Civil War, where, the whole battle thing, the whole battle structure, phases and objectives kind of drive, they're not only important, they are the definition of whether you win or lose. And GTCW just doesn't like that. So now I'm thinking, do I need to fiddle around and try to maneuver him some more? Or is it, just go across this ground? I don't really see how I can maneuver him into something else. He's not going to want to come out of there. Option 2 is take the objective. Yeah, just kind of set up a line here and go so far as to build some fortifications. It's day 2. We got day 3 available. Take the objective just with like some skirms, right? Not letting our brigades come under fire. And then that may goad him into an attack. I think I like that idea. And I think that's what I'm going to do, which means I got some more little marching and building breastworks and things like that to do. If he lets me, as soon as I may just move up like right into here and he decides to attack. That is quite possible as well. And I think that would be probably fine. Anyway, we'll see how it works out, but I will be back when we see how that's going to develop out. They should have nice positions now. This firing arc says they don't. I bet they do. Or not. How is that not like just a... Okay, there he goes. Well, these are 12-pounder field guns. These are 6... Maybe that's the difference. These guys appear fine. Let's just move these 6-pounders up a little bit more. Well, I can't move them up too much more. They're with the infantry line as it is. But that's going to be moving forward, I think. We'll move them up with the skirms. There. See if you like that position. Woodruff. Can you fire from there? Maybe the 12-pounders need to move too. He's not continuously firing. Let's see if he will fire continuously under bombardment. Let's see if I can actually... No, damn it. It's a little clunky getting these... Well, somehow now I've managed to limber him up. Alright, let me try this again. That looks better. Bledsoe? No? Fine. Move up here. Nope, he's sending skirms out. He's not digging. He's not digging this artillery stuff. Let's get both of our Mississippi rifle armed skirmishers on those skirmishers. Let's even send these skirmishers over to... I think by putting them there, they'll actually draw the fire of the federal pickets. And since these guys are in bombardment, maybe these skirmishers won't be blocking their no. Okay. Limber up. Come back here. That ought to be far enough. Well, and now the guys rotate. Because they're moving, I guess. If I hadn't done that, they probably would have still kept firing. Those guys actually getting shots? No. Here. Yeah, I think those skirms are blocking his line of fire. I'm just going to back him up a little bit so that the artillery can fire. Does he listen? No. Well, he's fulfilled his purpose, and he's getting a little toasty on casualties anyway. Let's just pull him in. Just ease this battery up a little more. Not as far up as he was. Let's see if he can shoot from there. Apparently Bledsoe can't see. Why, I don't know. Here, go back to fire at will. It's a little frustrating trying to figure out what to do with artillery. It's finicky. Why can't you guys see anything? And even with the changed unit prefs, it's still hard to see what exactly they're... Something in here is blocking their vision. It can only be the shape of this slope, which I can only go down this far. Maybe if I could get down to ground level, it would go, oh, that's why they can't see anything. Here, let's... Yeah, I think there's a little hump right in here that if we were down on the ground level, you could see that this is like an area of dead vision here. Okay, so basically we need to get the artillery up to the road, and we can't do that unless we... Okay, at least those skirms got driven in. Let's advance the infantry. don't know why this brigade isn't putting skirms out. It should be big enough. Artillery's got plenty of targets now. Oh, he can't put out skirms because these skirms are too close. That's why. But if we just ease them up just a hair, we should drive off those skirms pretty quick, I would think. Those pickets need to come in for ammo. Oh, they broke. These guys have to do some kind of parade ground complex maneuver instead of just walking forward a little bit. Oh man, why do they do that? Okay, Wakeman's pick is doing okay. Slacks are doing fine. Pull those pickets in. I thought I pulled those pickets in. Why are you not pulling your pickets in? There they go. Well, they're coming in because they're broken. $650 to $330. Hey, Marmaduke, why don't you come over here? Give him something to think about. Multiple targets for that battalion, multiple targets for this battalion. I think that's fine. Oh my goodness. Just see he's pinned her back a little bit. I didn't realize he was taking that kind of fire. And going back to what I was talking about earlier, previous episode actually, you know, even with just reboard muskets, he would have been in better shape there. Oh, he took 400 casualties. I didn't even recognize that was happening. Why isn't Daniel firing? What? Oh, because he's at, no, that's too far. That's too far. Stop. Shit. I thought he was at long range. Which I had put him in long range. Okay. I'm going to need Pinder to... Okay, now he's committing this cavalry. Now I'm going to bring Marmaduke over. $1,200 to 1,000. That is not good enough. Dismount. And flank in with those Springfield Musketoons. Wait till you get fully set there. Little parade ground maneuvers. Alright, go. Flank. I just saw that thing tick in the wrong direction. 1,600 to 1,300. Okay, Cav wavering. A little bit more. Now he's exposed to flanking fire from the infantry, who's already shooting right into his flank. I know Pender's probably going to break. But I need his fire. Okay, that cap is done. Okay, Marmaduke, you're fresh troops, man. Get over there. Okay, looks like they're retreating. And we got the major victory. And frankly, I don't want to burn more casualties. I'm content. I'm pretty close to that threshold where it would, yeah. Matter of fact, let's disengage. I'm too close to the threshold where it will revert back to a minor. Hey, I'm above 20% casualties. Crap. Pender, pull back. I cannot afford you routing right now. I do, however, need this brigade to rout. He's kind of doing a rear guard action there. What is going on up here? It's back down into the middle? Still saying major victory. What the hell? 63 morale to 27. We hold the objective. My loss and rout and morale numbers are way better than the Federals. I can see it dropping from a major to a minor. I get that. This doesn't make any sense. Somehow I got to the retreat threshold. The mandatory retreat threshold before the Federals did. And that does not make any sense. Yeah, things weren't going great, but it was going a hell of a lot better for me than for him. I mean, I'm not actually going to retreat. Well, it's only going to last 27 minutes anyway. These units are broken back here. I don't, if they, I guess they could rally, but they're not going to rally and come back and enter the fighting in 25 minutes. I don't know if that's such a hot idea. And I don't know why they can't hit him from much further. Because he's at freaking short range. I had those guys at long range. That wasn't an oversight. The commander switched it. And he routs. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just disengaging entirely. Because I don't know the effect of further contact. These are bloody battles we're having at the beginning of the war. 30% casualties for him, 20, almost 24% for me. And I flat do not understand why I'm losing this battle. I don't know what to say about that. No idea. If anyone has an idea on something I overlooked, something in the stats, the mechanics, how I triggered the retreat phase for me, love to hear it, because I do not know. Let's speed this up. I mean, they're bugging out too. They are also retreating. They just didn't trigger a retreat phase. I don't know what to say about it. Okay. I'm going to stop whining. See how our guys did here. Thousand, almost 1,100 casualties delivered by the 2nd Division. That's the Mississippi Rifle guys. 274 by the Arty. That's not bad for 2 battalions with, you know, one with 6-pounders. And they're not full size either. Almost a little over 900 by McCulloch's division. All right. Yeah, and it's staying Confederate minor defeat. So we're going to have to retreat. We're probably going to have to retreat all the way back. Our closest IIP is, I think it's down by Fort Smith. And there we go again. Artillery guy becomes famous. Pemberton of all, you know, not just artillery guy, but Pemberton. Okay, so our national morale drops, military experience rises. Our national morale this time. But we still get some military experience out of it. It keeps going up even when you lose. And let's just see. Yeah, he's going to have to come all the way back to Fayetteville, I think. I don't think he's got a closer... he might go to Carthage. What about Rockbridge? No. Frankly, I kind of might prefer Fayetteville. I don't know. Hey, so I had actually finished the episode, and I was a little miffed there about the outcome of that battle. Still am. But during editing, I realized, oh, I didn't finish up with that subsidy thing or project thing. So here we go. And yeah, it did fill up. And so administration reform had filled up prior. And subsidies kept accruing. And now we've got that railroad construction. And we also have suppressed population. And so, as I discussed earlier, let's just see what else there is. Got any weapon stuff yet? No. How close are we getting? We're not even getting... Well, reboard muskets getting pretty close. We need 200 and we're at 166. which tells me that military is filling up slower than politics is. And Springfield's pretty close too. We've got another 30-something K to go. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and take this railroad, and what I want to see is, does it affect subsidies in other categories? It shouldn't. And it doesn't. Good. Okay, so we have level 1 railroad construction, and then I was going to build the New Orleans and Tallahassee, which is a bigger railroad than those others, and it's going to cost 8.9. Now what I could do is wait for this industry slider to fill up and fill up and fill up, and ostensibly that would make it cheaper. Now I'm doing it. Now, let's see if that one actually takes, and when I load the game in next time, if it's giving us credit for constructing the darn thing. I forgot to look at how much it, I think we were at, damn, I wrote it down somewhere. 222 days is what it was. You know, I can't find it. $422 days. Well, that doesn't make any sense. But I've got time stopped again. Maybe that's why. Let's just tick it forward a little bit. This is really irritating about these battles. And if you remember, the previous battle, which we did win, up there close to Alexandria. Now, let's see if that was enough to change it. We did win it, but the retreat phase was kind of janky during that battle too. And even though it went in our favor, that was confusing as well. So I don't know if there's something going on here that's not intended. And it's still showing 421 days. At any rate, I just wanted to come back in and put in a short tack on at the end to cover that about the projects. And if you like what I'm doing, leave a like, leave a comment, maybe subscribe. At any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.